Hello and welcome to Matriz and Mayhem. I'm Carmen, and for today's pick a pile, or pick a card, we have 3 separate piles. And to help you pick, I've chosen crystals and we're using some of the Citadel cards. But in each one, we will address where you're currently at on your life path or your life's journey. We will talk about all the different energies at play, including emotions, transits that either have affected or will potentially affect your life path. We will talk about things that you need to work on and the alchemy that is either for or against you. And alongside that, I will also give you an affirmation card and an empowerment card. And then at the very end, we'll go ahead and do charms. And beforehand, I do want to apologize. I am Mercury ruled, and if you haven't noticed yet, I do stutter or mess up my words. The transits for Mercury retrograde do affect me quite strongly, so I apologize in advance. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the piles and let you select. So we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Now with pile 1, we have the Desert Rose alongside the Shepherd. Alongside pile 2, with pile 2 we have the Orthoceras fossil, and with it we have the Acolyte. I love these. These are just so pretty with the gold. And last but not least, we have the Apophyllite point, and with it we have the Botanist. I'll go ahead and give you a minute to select your pile. When you're ready, go ahead and head over to your selection. And in advance, I do want to thank you so much for being here today. If there's anything that you think I can do better, I would greatly appreciate you leave it in the comments down below. All right, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, and if you picked pile 1, welcome to your pile for the Desert Rose. And as I was shuffling through your cards, my goodness, the synchronicity is beautiful. You have such good cards, you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle your spread. You're gonna get a cafecito spread. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and look at all the cards together. So you have the 4 of Cups, the 8 of Cups, and then afterwards I'll go ahead and pull you an affirmation and an empowerment card, and we'll do some charms. Okay, so we have the World, the Son of Pentacles, and the 3 of Wands. Okay. Many. Okay. Okay, so bottom of the deck is the 6 of Pentacles. So before we review your tarot cards, let's go ahead and talk about the oracle cards we pulled for you. So starting off, we have Coral's Wisdom. Colony, delicacy, fragility, works that are created over great periods of time. Now this is interesting because it does correlate again with the Shepherd card, which is about celebration and family. So for those of you that selected this pile, family or your community is crucial. Now, we did get 2 of the hero's journey cards for you. So you have stand up and be recognized. Behold, you're the inspiration you've been looking for. And you also got a splendid torch, blaze brightly, sorry. We get Mercury retrograde in a couple days, and I'm already botching words. I am Mercury ruled, so. Now what you need to work on is calling in the storm. Transits that will likely be important for you. We have the first quarter moon in Gemini, which says speak your world into being, and then we have the full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. This transit specifically hits, both of these hit between January and February. The full moon in Cancer always hits in January, and the first quarter in Gemini hits in February. So if you guys need that information, that is there for you. Now, I'm going to place these next cards according to the flow of energy. So we have determination. That goes with splendid torch. Creativity. Stand up and be recognized. I think that goes with, creativity goes with stand up and be recognized and the first quarter moon. Intuition, I think, goes well with calling in the storm. And then cleanse, I think, goes well with full moon in Cancer. So I just wanted to set that up that way so you guys can see the synchronicities. We have the new pearl, and then we also have sparks of light. Now, all these oracle cards explain where you're at on your hero's journey. I think that for you, this pearl, this is something you're wanting, right? This goes with Coral's wisdom, right? It's works that are created over time, grit, right? This tiny little piece of sand turns into a pearl. And then with Splendid Torch, you have sparks of light. So I think that what you're needing to realize is that you need a community of people there for you. Your roots to your family, shepherding. You need to either be a shepherd or you need a shepherd. You need guidance. Intuition, right? Calling of the storm. The most brilliant thing about these two cards is that she's a shaman. In this card, it's a shaman. You see the eye here? This tells me that you know, you have a deep knowing, a deep understanding of everything, and you're in the middle of the storm, right? That is the most peaceful place you can be right now. So what you need to do is you need to take time to just breathe. Allow yourself to remember that you are everything you need. You're the inspiration. Everything comes from you. Here we have that eye yet again in creativity, right? You're balanced, right? Gemini is a balancing of the masculine and feminine energies. I think the biggest thing here is that you just need to allow yourself time to breathe, to cleanse your energy, to give yourself time to process everything that has happened thus far in your journey. And always remember that it's important to have balance, it's important to breathe, and it's important to allow yourself to be a spark, to burn brightly, and to be determined. Because with this conjunction, with this in combination, you'll be able to form that pearl, right? People will see. I don't know if you can see here the image portrayed. Now, in the current setting, we're going to look at your tarot, right? So the current issue is you might not be taking an opportunity. You might be leaving something behind. That's what this Four of Cups and this Eight of Cups talks about together. The issue is you're trying to leave something behind. You're trying to close a chapter, because we have the World and the Knight of Pentacles here, right? The Son of Pentacles is the Knight. You want to expand, so you know that you have to close out a chapter. You have to leave something behind. And this might be hard for you. That's what this Three of Swords is about. But again, Gemini energy here. You need to do this so you're balanced. But you have so many beautiful things coming. I think right now, this is the heart of the matter. This is what needs to be addressed. You need to just sit with the fact that you have to close out this chapter. And with it being the Son of Pentacles, this is something that's been a long time coming. This is something that you've been needing to do for quite a while now, and you just have not addressed it. Now, I don't know if you have Gemini placements or Taurus placements, but I'm sensing that quite strongly here. Perhaps even Aries, but I feel more somebody that's really digging their heels in. And when I think of that, I think of Taurus. I think that the more time you spend allowing yourself to process this, not to overthink it, but to essentially grieve it. It's gone. Even if it's still in your life, you need to think of it as it's a closed chapter. It's gone. You need to look at it that way, because there's no other way you'll be able to process it. And this is something you definitely need to do. If you want this pearl, these blessings at the end, if you want to allow yourself to burn and burn brightly, to just be this star in the night sky, you have to give yourself that space to grieve. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, pile one, okay? I hope that this was a good reading, and let's go ahead and give you your affirmation and your, what did we say the other card was? Empowerment, that's right. So one affirmation card, please. Best version. Every day I am growing into my full potential. Therefore, I am becoming more extrinsically valuable to the world. So I will walk with arms wide to receive the challenges coming my way. At this moment, I am the best version of myself, and tomorrow I'll be even better. It's carriage. I find that really interesting, because in the tarot, the Chariot is a Cancer card. And then your empowerment card. One empowerment card for pile one, please. Thank you. Soul art, again, with creativity. I am vibrant. I'm a vibrant creator. I express my unique gifts openly with confidence. Every choice I make is an act of creation, inspired by my curious spirit. My life is an art piece painted with the energy of my creativity. Okay, so that's your affirmation and your empowerment card. Let's go ahead and pull. I'm gonna do a little section here, right here, for your charms. So what charms can we get for pile one, please? Okay. So for pile one, I don't know if this is, I'm not up to date on the current pride flags. That was just the immediate thought with this one. If you guys can see that. It's like a bead, and it's got pink, yellow, and pink bands. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the specific pride flag. You have a little unicorn rocking horse. I don't know if that's visible. Let me make sure the focus is good. It's a little unicorn rocking horse. We have a butterfly. We have, I don't know if this is a teddy bear or a koala, but it's a mama bear and a baby bear. I'm just gonna assume they're bears. We have a heart, an arrow, so maybe this is a love situation, maybe again alluding to the lovers. We have a little seashell, beautifully again touching on grit and our precious pearl. A sun, a spark, right? Again, another confirmation of the cards we've received. Another shell. This one's more of a conch type shell though. Okay. We have a lot of charms for you, pile one. We have a little turtle, sea turtle. Some of you may live near the sea, or maybe you wish to travel towards the sea. We have a cloud. Perhaps this is again touching on your emotions. You need a cleanse, right? When it rains, we get a good cleanse. The air smells beautiful. The water helps all of the living things, including animals, plants, flowers, trees. You have a little elephant. Spooky skeletons. I keep thinking about that little song. I forget how it goes, but it's like the little spooky skeleton song. Spooky season might be important for you. You have a key. I think because it looks kind of like a butterfly at the top of the key for me. I'm further seeing this connecting to this butterfly, and butterflies I think of as like inspiration, insight. Now you have two little pills. We'll see what the messages in our pills are really quick, and then we'll wrap up the reading. Now the purple pill says, these are rolling these are rolling away from me. Darn you, Mercury retrograde, making this difficult. Okay, this one's kind of dark, dirty. Further alluding to our lovers card. Lady in the streets, freak in the sheets. So I think that might also speak on the duality, right? It'll speak on the duality of your nature. And I see this as a good thing. It's a winky face too on the pill. Here, I'll show you in a second. As soon as these little pills and messages stop rolling away from me. So both of them are winky. If that would focus. Let's see. Aw, no focus. I don't know what's up with my camera. It's a winky face, I promise. And then our little pink pill here has the message. I cannot see what you can see so easily. Demons by Jacob Lee. So that might be a song that might help you right now through this letting go, right? I'm trying to recall the lyrics here to see if any of it has strong significance to the reading. I can't think of much except that the song is kind of about betrayal and overcoming your demons. I think it's because maybe the situation you're currently dealing with, the person, or people rather, could have played a part in you doubting yourself or your situation becoming difficult. I would definitely say give the song a listen. Meditate on everything we've talked about here, but just remember, you are the best version of yourself today. And what I get from best version is don't compete. All right? Create teams, not enemies. I'm thinking of main character energy by Moonlight and Scorpio. I'm on my way. Something about her succeeding, like you best believe I will succeed. Picture perfect, made for the screen. I never want, I never need, I affirm and I receive. Right? Remember that. Remember that you are the main character in your situation. So affirm and receive that you never want, you never need. Everything is working for you. And you are the best version of yourself today. Create the life, create the change that you want in the world. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this reading. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this is insightful and it helps you on your way, Pile 1. Thank you for watching. Hi, if you picked Pile 2, which is the Acolyte, New Projects and Learning, and the Orthoceras, this is your pile. We're going to go ahead and start with the tarot, and then we'll delve into the oracle cards I pulled for you. Okay, so. Okay. So currently, Echo, turn volume down by 2. Normally, I would not have felt the need to do that. However, I did see your oracle cards, so I am not surprised that I was fine disturbing the flow to do that. Oh, wow, but we're having a lot, really, trying to remember if that came out. I think this goes here, and this goes here. Chaos. That's part of your oracle cards, though. Okay. So for the bottom of the deck, it got so quiet all of a sudden. Echo, play. Okay. I find that funny because it does definitely correlate with the cards. So we'll go ahead and talk about these. So the tarot cards are more of your current situation, and I think the oracle cards are representing more the bigger picture. So we're gonna go ahead and start with vulnerability. You'll have to forgive me if I botch words. I am Mercury ruled, and we start the retrograde in like 3 days. So vulnerability says, open your heart, allow yourself to be tender. Then we have the reward. Celebrate your magnificence. Mercury retrograde. I'm not gonna cut that out. I don't know, I feel this is very relevant for your reading. Normally I would want to cut those mistakes out, but I'll explain here. So, fragmentation. This is part of the card that I was gonna talk about here. Fated to suffer. And then important transits are gonna be, or have been, last quarter moon in Gemini and last quarter moon in Aries. So last quarter moon in Gemini says clear your mind. Last quarter moon in Aries says work through your feelings. We have cleanse, which I think would be good to set over those two. We have protection, which I think would be good to set over vulnerability and reward. And we have surrender, which I think would be good over reward and fragmentation. I'll explain this in a second. Let me just continue pulling your cards. So then we have against nature. We have sugar. All interruptions are part of the reading. I'm just looking at it from that perspective. Antimony. Okay, so in the current moment, I think you're struggling with vulnerability. I think you're not allowing yourself to be in your feminine energy. And I think it's interesting we have protection, surrender, and cleanse. I think you're just very closed up. Sorry. That was a very loud interruption. But yeah, the reason you have protect, surrender, and cleanse is because you're closed off, right? You're in this kind of energy where you're just, very, very hardened. If you were curious about pile 1, there might be relevance in that pile for you, because we did talk about armor and an exoskeleton for pile 1. For you, though, you feel very fragmented. I would highly, highly recommend you look into soul retrieval, just because of what I read for fragmentation. And then that, again, correlates with cleanse, surrender, because during soul retrieval, you do have to go through a lot of cleansing of yourself, and you do have to surrender certain aspects of the ego, the self, the mind, just feelings. It's a lot of work, but when you're fragmented, it's a necessary practice. Now, with fated to suffer, along with fragmentation. So let me elaborate a little more on fragmentation. So when you're fragmented, it's like a big shot to your soul, your ego, whatever aspect, right? And it can have incredibly tarnishing effects on you. And this is what causes the fragmentation, right? Some huge event at some point in your life caused you to become fragmented, and I think what you need to do is you need to do soul retrieval. You need to put gold through those cracks. And I keep thinking of this. And this correlates with this sugar card, which I'll get to in a second. But part of the reason you might be struggling, again, I apologize for all the pause. I keep pausing because there's interruptions. My children are home, and I also have neighbors that kind of come up and down the stairs, and you can hear them. So yeah. But anyway, with fragmentation and fated to suffer, I think because you have these pieces of you that you just feel incomplete in some sense, and fated to suffer, with those cards in conjunction, I think what it's really saying is that because you've suffered in the past, you just think that that's always going to be the case, that it's never going to change, that you're never going to be whole again, that you're never going to be able to just be lively and just who you are. So I do deeply recommend soul retrieval, because this would be so helpful. Because right now you've gone through this period, right, where you needed to protect yourself, but now you need to surrender and cleanse yourself, right? Because you have rewards coming, and you can't receive them if you're closed up, right? You can't receive if you're not in your feminine energy. Now, February is typically when you have the last quarter moon in Gemini per year. So that might be an important time frame somewhere in February, during Aquarius season, or right between Aquarius and Capricorn season, which is mid-January to February, give or take. And then you have your last quarter moon in Aries, which was in July. So either last July or next July will be significant for you. But I like to bring those up just in case there's relevance to that there. But you do need to clear your mind and work through your feelings, right? As we've highlighted already. Now, with against nature, sugar, and antimony, I think you have these three energies at play. You're wanting to go against nature. You're wanting to buck, right? You're wanting to buck. And you need to realize, what is it? You catch more. Is it you catch more flies with sugar than vinegar, or honey and vinegar? Something about the difference between the two tastes, right? Like, you can't be a sourpuss, essentially, is what it's saying. You can't be a sourpuss. You can't just lead your life expecting that everything's just going to go horribly, because then you're going against nature. You can't allow these rewards to come in if you're not in this receiving energy. in this sweetness, right? I know that's very hard when you go through a lot of things, a lot of difficulties. And part of you wants to rebel. You don't want to be sweet because you've suffered a lot, right? That's what antimony is about. It's about being a free spirit, but you have to also remember, you can either be free or you can be chaotic, right? Because rebellion is part of freedom. They correlate. But there's a fine line. There's a fine line. And the image that comes to mind, again, is with water. I'm looking at this cleanse card. With water, because water can either give life, right? Like a gentle rain, a river, or it can give way to destruction, like a hurricane or a flooding river that just completely waterlogs everything, right? But even then, for example, the lotus flower needs the mud, right? So sometimes you need this destruction. You need these things. You need, and I know that probably people won't like hearing this, but sometimes you need suffering. You need suffering in order to love and appreciate, to see the world, to see the good. Sometimes you need to go through the bad. Because if you're living a life where you have a silver spoon in your mouth, where you're constantly getting everything you want, you won't know how to appreciate it. You'll devalue everything. You'll take it for granted, right? And I know for people who come from nothing, people who just have known struggle their entire life, this is a bold statement. And, some people might buck against that. They might say, no, well, that's some bullshit. Because frankly, it's bullshit, right? And I get that. I understand that, most definitely, because I've been there. But I think that you do need to allow yourself to be vulnerable, be in this feminine energy. When you're in this feminine energy, you surrender. You surrender your control, you surrender your power, and then you can cleanse, and then you're rejuvenated because you're given gifts, right? Because you receive, okay? So you need to just cleanse, clear your mind, work through all your feelings. Soul retrieval, I highly, highly suggest you look into it. But the heart of the matter is this. You are, again, this is the Empress card, and you have vulnerability. We talk so much about feminine energy, sugar. This is you. But you're fighting it because you have the Mother of Swords. You're fighting this energy. But if you want to receive, if you want to expand, you have to stop with this power struggle. Because that's what the Five of Swords is. It's a power struggle. It's fighting for resources. You have to just breathe, clear your mind, and remember that what is for you will never pass you by. All right? What is for you cannot be taken away from you. You can forfeit it, but it can't be taken away from you. All right? And if you're constantly in this fragmented state and you're thinking that you're fated to suffer, then you will forfeit these blessings. At least at this time. I mean, there might be a possibility they come back up, but you can't receive until you're ready to receive. Okay? I think that the biggest issue here for you is that you're down. You're down on your luck, like you feel like, oh, well, nothing ever works out for me. You're just a Debbie Downer. You're a Debbie Downer, and I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's your problem. That you have not received the things you want because you're not allowing. You need to raise yourself to the vibration of these gifts you wish to receive. Otherwise, how will you receive them, right? Let's go again. Let's go ahead and get you an affirmation. I really hate retrogrades because they affect me so deeply. Productivity. Okay, so for some of you, it could be a productivity issue. That's the bottom, but it's got less relevance. Okay. My body. My body is my home, and I must love it immeasurably. By gently touching my skin, my laugh lines, and my scars, I appreciate my body fully. I am beautiful inside and out. So again, this could be regarding the fragmentation. Maybe this is something significant for you. Okay? I'll repeat it again. And you can pause and write it down if you need to. My body is my home, and I must love it immeasurably. By gently touching my skin, my laugh lines, and my scars, I appreciate my body fully. I am beautiful inside and out. You know, these things make you who you are. It's not necessarily that you need to go through pain or life experience, but sometimes we don't really appreciate our life or ourselves until we go through it. You know, like for example, every scar has a story, right? Like, which hand is it that I have this scar in? Well, I have two. I have a scar on my finger. I have this scar because I cut myself on a glass window in my auntie's house in Mexico because I was helping her clean. And then I have this other scar on my hand because I was trying to run to catch my bus and there was gravel and I fell. I lost my footing, I fell, and I scraped myself across the cement and the gravel. Like it was loose gravel. But you know, those are two times where I was trying to be diligent. I was trying to be helpful, be on time, good things. I was trying to do good things and I got hurt for trying to do good. And maybe that's where you're coming from, pile 2. Maybe you're like, fuck the world, I always get hurt, like I don't want to fucking give a shit about anybody. And I get that, I deeply understand. But you're not going to receive your rewards like that. The way, this is encouragement, right? The journey is the way. As I walk, I embrace the journey. I am present in every moment. I accept happiness as well as suffering. I appreciate the blessings of today while dreaming of the victories of tomorrow. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? Like the way everything is connected. I always find that just absolutely amazing. This is why I love reading tarot. I'm going to read that one again. The way. The journey is the way. As I walk, I embrace the journey. I am present in every moment. I accept happiness as well as suffering. I appreciate the blessings of today while dreaming of the victories of tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and do your charmies. So this is going to be probably loud. I should have worn pile 1. I'm sorry, pile 1. You were my guinea pig pile. So that was not very nice of me, but okay. Your warning. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so where do we start? Let's start with the rings. So this is the U.S. Army. I don't know if one of you or some of you were in the Army or know somebody that was in the Army. I'm trying to remember who I got this ring from. I don't remember, to be honest. Got it from someone in my family, though. You have love. I'm wondering if some of you could actually have gotten an injury while in the Army or while serving. Bienvenidos. Some of you may speak Spanish, or perhaps you're visiting somewhere, a country that speaks Spanish. Okay, we have 2 interlinked hearts, again with the love charm. Let's see, I'm trying to see what we could tie it to. It could be vulnerability. In the vulnerability card, you have a merman rescuing a female, like a human female. You have the starfish, regeneration. You can fix any of this fragmentation, whether that's a physical or a spiritual, emotional, mental fragmentation. You can regenerate, right? Surrender and cleanse, essentially. I have a little rocket. And with the rocket, it could be you saying, like, or it could be telling you rather, that it takes a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of just work, planning, test runs to get this rocket ship into space. So, in order for you to jump up, to just be seen, to be successful, to be on this wonderful journey, you had to get all of this. You had to transform all of this lead into gold, all this darkness into light. And you're still in that process, but you're receiving rewards. It's coming sooner. It's already here for you. You just have to raise your vibration to it. I don't know if any of you believe in angels, or if in your religion there's angels, but maybe a divine message. Half of a Pokeball, so catch them all. Maybe you feel like your love has escaped you. Maybe that's a big source of your fragmentation. Oh, you know what's interesting? Look at protection. It's like 2 locks almost. If you guys can see that. They look like 2 locks. So I'm wondering if, like, this is a love situation. You have a small dream catcher. You know, they eventually dissolve. They're supposed to, traditionally. They're supposed to dissolve. Maybe you're supposed to come undone. After catching all these bad things, after all these bad things happen, you're supposed to come undone. But be new after all of it. I know that for the Acolyte, a lot of it is about learning. It's about being willing to be taught, right? You. I don't know if this is meaning you, or if it's significant, like the start of a name or a place or a phrase. But I do think that the biggest thing is you have to be willing to allow the universe to teach you. Don't look at these bad things as like suffering, like this is all just like woe is me, right? Don't come in with that energy. Don't think that, oh well, everything bad always happens to me and the world is against me, and you know, I'm not loved, God doesn't love me, and you know, whatever your higher power is, don't think negatively. Because I don't think it's that you're fated to suffer or that everything is trying to break you. I think that it's trying to teach you. And that's the biggest takeaway here, is that you need to just sit through it, process it, and find the sweetness in it. Find the silver lining. And then allow yourself to receive your blessings. Because they're there for you. They're flowing through you. It's like a person who loses their phone, right? Loses their phone. And they're just walking around like crazy, like, where the hell is my phone? And then they realize it's in their fucking pocket. That's you right now. It's in your pocket. You have it in the bag. I just think you haven't realized that yet. And I think that's the biggest message coming through for you. It's a time of receiving. It's a time of blessing. Remind yourself of that. With that being said, I hope this reading was helpful, and I know it was a hard one, but I appreciate you being here, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps. Hello, and if you picked pile 3, which is the Apophyllite and the Botanist, welcome to your reading. Now, I did already go ahead and do your oracle cards. We're going to go ahead and do your tarot on camera here, and then we'll address your oracle cards. Tarot, we'll do 2, 1 encouragement card, 1 affirmation, so 2 additional cards, and then we'll go ahead and do charmies at the end. I'm trying to think if I did charmies for pile 2. I can't remember. I think I did. Okay, I think those are for that. Ace of Cups. Oh wow, you have really auspicious cards, pile 3. Now, I'll have to tell you right now, I am Mercury ruled, so I am gravely affected by the retrograde, so I will definitely have a few hiccups here and there. Okay, we have the 10 of Wands. Oh, that's a lot of cards. I'm not taking all these. Hang on, I'm gonna reshuffle, or keep shuffling. Just because that was 3 cards. I need only 1. Thank you. That's the Chariot reversed. Okay. Bottom of the deck is Mother of Wands. You might be dealing with a fire sign, or you yourself may be a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Take that however it resonates. Okay. Can you see my Virgo rising acting up? Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the oracles. So you had a very interesting pile. So the crane bag, sacred ocean medicine, clutter, declutter, choice. And I do think that this Mercury retrograde is going to be extremely significant for you, because you do have a few cards indicating so. For your journey card, you have discover your superpower, access 100% of your mojo. Okay. Important transits are last quarter moon in Taurus, which says be proud of yourself. Actually, let me put the transit cards over here. I think I did these backwards. Full moon in Aquarius, be real. So, interesting thing is these both happen in August. We did just have the full moon in Aquarius at the start of the month, and I believe the last quarter moon was after that, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to remember transits. I think so. I think I think the full moon was first, and then the last quarter moon. However, that does not mean that that time frame was what was significant. It just means that in the future, August, the first couple of weeks in August were or are significant. That's what that says. Okay, moving on. What you need to work on: obsession. You got 3 of these cards, so you have a little more work to do versus the other piles, which isn't bad. You have envious gluttony, which is a very interesting card, paired alongside with anger and chains. So these last 2, I think, are really, really interesting cards for you to have gotten, and I'll explain in a second why. Okay, yeah, you definitely have some kind of like some kind of Virgo energy is affecting you, whether that's the upcoming Mercury retrograde or something else altogether. Maybe you have prominent Virgo placements or a transit. Yeah, you might have a transit affecting you in an important house, maybe 6th, 1st house, maybe 10th house even. But anyway, for your alchemy cards, we have the Ouroboros. We have Neptune. We have Mercury. So So you know what, let me do this way. Because these kind of go really well together, Mercury. And then mortification. So you have perhaps a really important 8th house transit, or you have strong 8th house placements, and I'll elaborate a little more on that. But you have sweetness, and I'm going to place this where I think it's most relevant. I think sweetness goes well with the cream bag and discover your superpower, because I think you have to find that sweetness. That's part of your mojo. Again, confidence, I think, goes well between obsession and discover your superpower. Rest. Oh, this one's a hard one. I think rest would go good between anger and chains. And then protection, I think, would go best between obsession and envious gluttony. Now, parenthood and legacy. I think this reading is a lot more about your personal legacy. I think that you struggle very heavily with your anger and with feelings of gluttony or envy. I think that you look at other people and you crave what they have, and it makes you angry that you don't have it, right? And I think you tend to obsess about this because you look at yourself and you're like, well, I'm an amazing person, right? Here's that confidence. I'm an amazing person. Why do they have all these things? Why do I not have them? Like, what the fuck, right? But what you don't realize is, like, maybe there's a feeling of shame. Maybe you keep this under wraps, right? This isn't something that comes out. Maybe this is something that comes out more in your dream state, or maybe more so only with people you deeply trust to talk about it. I think what you need to realize is you need to be, first and foremost, be kinder to yourself. That's where this sweetness comes in, where you need to declutter and choose to use these as your powers. Stop obsessing over what other people have. I know that's easier said than done. But with Discover Your Superpower, your 100% mojo is relating to this Ouroboros. And I think it's beautiful because if you look at this card, you see all the colors. And it's like all the colors of the rainbow here. And this is like a higher being, and this is you, right? This higher being is you. It's your shadow. It's your emotions, right? Your shadow self. The only reason I say emotions is because, you know, anger and envy, those are very, very strong emotions, right? You have that here with the blue. The blue for me, I think, represents emotions, represents, like, these colors more so are the mind, right? The mind, maybe even you can associate chakras here because you have a heavier green on this side here. So the heart, the blues are the throat, the mind, the violet is the mind, you know, it's the third eye, all of those chakras, right? Heart, throat, third eye. That's your shadow. And it's funny because we correlate this here with Mercury and Neptune down here. I don't know if you guys heard that thump. I'm going to take that as a confirmation. But you nitpick, right? With Mercury, it could be important about the transit, but it could also be that you just nitpick all the little details. You kind of just analyze and you just pick everything apart, right? You don't know why, but you just do it. You pick everything apart. That's a good thing. That's a good thing because if you balance it with this Neptunian energy of allowing everything to be a higher thing, right? Like, not everything is about you. That things have a deeper purpose. You look for those signs, right? You actively search, but you remember that these signs, they're for your higher being so that you can access your energy 100%, like everything that you are and you are meant to be. You access through looking for these signs. Now, when we think of the 8th house, we think of taboo, death, the occult, but we don't think in the aspects of rebirth, right? Decay. A great thing that I like to think of is like mushrooms, right? Because they grow from all that decay. They grow from it. Another one is volcanoes, because yes, they absolutely destroy everything in their path, but they also fertilize the land and they prepare it. They prepare it for new, abundant, amazing growth. So you can't have any of the good things without death. And see, that's the funny thing, is the shadow aspect is mortification, is decay. But then the light aspect is the quantum world, is the Ouroboros, because it devours. It devours without any hesitation, without like having any kind of prejudice, masculine and feminine, right? Both polarities, both dualities, however you want to word it. It takes it in, it absorbs it, right? Because it's all one. These are essentially the same energies, but I think the difference is the perspective. Because if we just look at decay as decay and nothing more, how can we know that the decay is what gives room for life, right? What do we use to grow things? Fertilizer. What's fertilizer, right? It's decaying shit. Literally shit. It's just stuff that has gone through its entire life cycle. And it's now being reborn as something new. A flower, a new endeavor, whatever you choose to see that as. You can't have newness without decay. You can't have birth without decay, right? It's the way of the world. Now, the beautiful thing about discovering your superpower is that your shadow and your light, you have to have them both integrated, because every single person, without fail, has flaws. And the thing is, you need your shadow to protect you, because there are breaks in the chains of your armor, right? Anger and chains. There are breaks in it. And sometimes you need to remove that armor and repair it. But you have to protect it. You have to protect yourself. You have to see those breaks in your armor not as a flaw. You can't just be angry and be destructive about it, right? Because that's naturally maybe what you want to do. Maybe you see the light in you and you see that as a flaw and you want to destroy it because I'm too nice of a person. That's why everybody treats me like a doormat. That's why everybody rolls right over me. That's why I'm so stupid, because, you know, I didn't have enough money for my food this month, but I went and gave it away to somebody else. So now I'm starving. So now I need food. Nobody looks out for me when I need food. Why do I do it for everybody? Like, you might be coming from that perspective, right? I just realized the camera is tilted too low. Sorry guys, I'm still trying to figure out the setup. Okay, good enough. So, you know, you're from a perspective where, like, you see these good things, the goodness in you, you see it as a negative, which I completely understand, because you know what? It's a harsh world out there. People take kindness and they see it as weakness. But I want you to understand, it's fair. It's fair for you to seek more. It's fair for you to be angry that you don't have more, because you're starved. You're starved of what you deserve, of this sweetness, of choice, of receiving. You've been starved of it. And there's nothing wrong with obsessing over the fact that you know you're strong. You know you deserve all these great things. And it's okay to be angry that you haven't received them. But I think you need to start looking at these as your superpower. Stop looking at the fact that you're a sweet, kind person. Stop looking at that as a defect. Use this anger, use this envy, combine it with this sweetness. Okay? Because you're giving. What's the opposite of giving? Taking. You want to take. Combine them. Combine them and allow yourself to access the energy of both, because that's your superpower. Because you're multifaceted. You understand the signs of both celestial and terrestrial nature, right? Sorry, I could hear my kids. You understand that in order to grow, botanist, right? In order to grow, the soil must be prepared, and for that you need fertilizer, you need decaying matter. It's not just about one spectrum or the other. It has to be both together. Okay, and in the current time, what we're looking at here is expansion. You're wanting expansions, but you feel like your emotions are holding you back. Maybe this more gentle nature to you. It's what's holding you back. But again, these are such auspicious cards. You have the 10 of Pentacles, you have the 4 of Wands, and then you have the Son of Cups. You have great, my daughter was laughing. You have great abundance, Great abundance, good family, possibly a partnership in the future. Some sort of something to celebrate, some sort of union. It could even be the union of your two aspects, right? Emotions, balance of emotions, perhaps. The 10 of Wands, you're tired. Maybe you're tired of feeling envious all the time, of obsessing over what you don't have. And I think what's necessary is to give up the reins. Give up the reins. It's okay that you don't know your direction. But the thing is, be firm in who you are. Be real with yourself. It's okay to be confident, because when you are aligned and you recognize both polarities, both the duality in you, when you recognize that, that's where you make progress. That's where you realize the greatness that you are. You can't do that if you don't pause. Sorry, my phone was starting to fall down a bit, so I had to adjust it. I need a better setup. I promise I'll figure it out. But I thought that it was important for me to talk about this. You know what's interesting is these are squared. Taurus and Aquarius, those are squared. I just think you have a lot of conflicting energy. See, what's funny is you have the gold here and here. I don't know if you can see that. On both cards, you have that bit of gold. And you have gold inside the belly. And I just heard the belly of the beast. It makes me think of Little Red Riding Hood, where they open the wolf up. I don't know if that's relevant. If it is, take it. If not, leave it. But I think that you need to understand that your imbalances, those are what make you balanced. Now, that's not to say that, oh, well, if you're an angry person, just go nuts. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get to the root of your anger. get to the root of why you feel envy, why you're a glutton of sorts. Like, gluttony is not just about food. You know, it's about envy, about wanting things. You do charms. It's a spectrum, right? It's not just one thing. There is positive to be found in the negative. Now, the reason I say that is because again, we have this rainbow theme, right? Of all the different energies, of all the chakras. You might be part of the LGBTQ community. I don't know if it's still got the plus or how it is, but I'm sorry, I need to inform myself much better now. You have 3 pills in your reading. We'll address those at the end. But owls are about knowledge, about learning. Maybe you understand deeply. That's also Mercury energy, actually. I'll just set these aside, actually. I'll set them right there. But yeah, that's about learning, right? That's about just being very... Visual's not the word I'm looking for. It kind of fits, but it's not just about being visual. Vigilant. It's vigilance. Just being a very vigilant person. Let's see what we have here. We have a starfish. Regeneration. If you were kind of curious about pile 2, it might apply. We did get a starfish in pile 2 as well. I think an elephant, was that pile 1 or pile 2? I think pile 2 was also an elephant. Elephants can symbolize wisdom, luck. I always think of starfish as being regenerative. Did I show it to the camera? Like a little heart with flowers. It's funny, because the botanist. I think this is relating to Hecate, or I think so, because I remember I got my sister a keychain like this. So if you connect with Hecate, I'd say look into it. There's also Jesus on the cross. So maybe we have people of multiple faiths here, like varying faiths, not multiple. I mean, I'm sure you could. I wouldn't doubt people can be both. But I think faith in general is very important. I think this is the medalla de San Benito. Is it San Benito? Sorry, I'm a very bad Catholic. I forget things. But faith and protection, it's very important here. I guess what I'm gathering is you're very spiritually protected. I don't know why this makes me think of Felix the cat. Take that if it resonates. If not, it could just be about black cats, or maybe like a cartoon cat. Again, the fire sign. I remember I was talking about the bottom of the deck being the Mother of Wands. That's often, there's a black cat on that card often. It's not on this one, but in the tarot, there's typically a black cat on it. So it could be further alluding to maybe a Leo or an Aries or Sagittarius. We also have the strawberry, which, you know, strawberries are abundant in the summertime. We also have the strawberry full moon. Take that however it resonates. I mean, those are my favorite fruit. So I like that they're sweet, but also have slight tartness to them. Maybe that's what you're like. You're sweet, but you're a little tart, you know? You got a little something extra to you. Now, for letters, we have V, E, U, maybe like Europe, the European Union. That's relevant. We have a W. Now, any of these can be initials. They can be for places like countries, states, capitals, etc. Take that however it resonates. We're going to start with our green winky pill. Promise it's a winky. Oh, that's dirty. I didn't realize that. That's a winky. Okay. it says God is good, essentially. Dios es grande in Spanish. So God is big, God is good. That's the overall message. So faith is strong here. Faith plays a strong role for this pile. Whether you have a lack of faith and you need to get closer to your faith, or perhaps you have strong faith, but you know, take that how it resonates. If you are close to your faith, lean on it. And if you're not, maybe it's time to start. That's funny. The winky comment. This one says, quit it, you perv. I don't know. Maybe the envious gluttony is, you know, regarding that. I don't know. Maybe this has to do with a relationship. Or maybe you hold back. You hold back your sexual nature. That can be what that's about. Maybe you have anger connecting to that. Maybe you need to be more confident in yourself as a partner. Let's see here. Oh, this is cute. Okay, we have connected. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing what these say since they show up backwards on camera. Connected with a little heart. So again, you know, it could mean that you're connected to a lover, or you're connected to the universe, or you're connected to the earth. You're connected to the quantum world, you know, the terrestrial and the celestial. You're just connected. You're vibrating on love, right? On sweetness. You see that heart? You're just connected in some way. You know, however that resonates for you in particular. It's going to be different for everyone. But that being said, stay connected. You've got this. You have the confidence. You know you do. And when you combine everything, that's your superpower. That's 100% of your mojo, pile 3. Oh my goodness, pile 2. Or pile 3, sorry. You know what I forgot? Your affirmation. I'm so glad I remembered. I'll go ahead and squeeze this in. Here. I was about to do you guys dirty. See, this is why you feel that way. Cause like, why does everybody else get it and I don't? Sorry. Anyway, so your affirmation is healthy. Physical health looks different for everyone. Therefore, I will listen to my body and do what is best for it. What works for me may not work for others, and that is okay. Okay? What works for me may not work for others, and that is okay. I think that's the biggest takeaway here. And now for your empowerment card, Equinox Balance. Oh my God, I love this, you guys. I am in balance as my seasons change. I find equilibrium within light and dark, rest and activity. Joy and sorrow are in harmony. I offer gratitude for this divine gift. Sorry about that, but I am glad I went back and I remembered, because that would have probably been very upsetting. Because, you know, you already have this feeling as is, and I don't want to add to that. I'm so sorry, pile 3. I'm glad I was able to catch it. Mercury retrograde is really messing me up, but I'm glad I was able to catch it. But I hope you enjoyed your reading, as chaotic as I have been. But I appreciate you being here, especially if you stuck around long enough for me to fix my hiccup. That being said, have a great rest of your day and get some rest. All right, thank you so much. Have a good one.